Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Penny and this is Penny Small Spaces. Wow, it is June already. I can't believe how fast this year is going. June is always such a busy month for us here. First of all, it's birthday month. We had 4 birthdays over the last couple of weeks, starting with my granddaughter Olivia, who turned 6 at the beginning of the month, and then 3 of our 4 girls had birthdays over the last week. So that definitely keeps us on our toes for sure. Plus, I have a trip coming up starting on Father's Day. Every year, a group of us gals get together and we do a girls' trip. This is a pretty local trip. It's about a 3.5-hour drive, but every year we rent a little Airbnb out on a lake and we just spend 4 or 5 days hanging out, doing girl things. Usually means lots of great food, probably some wine, lots of great conversation, and enough laughter that we come home with our faces sore from smiling for 5 days. It's truly therapeutic, and if you are one of those lucky people who has 4 or 5 great ladies in your life, I would highly recommend it. And the other super exciting thing that's happened this month is I have retired. And I cannot tell you how good that feels. After 50 plus years in the workforce, I have moved to Freedom Town, which is where most of my friends live. And so I'm looking forward to just doing whatever it is I want to do. If I want to go for lunch on a Tuesday, I can do that, and I'm super excited. I'm also really excited for what it means for the channel, because as a person who worked full time, the amount of time that I got to spend on my projects here for the channel were pretty limited. Now I no longer have that pesky job to interfere with doing the things that I love, and so I'm really hoping to see my frequency of my videos go up and at least be a little more consistent than they have been in past. But for now, I'm just going to enjoy the summer, and I'm going to say yes to all the things that I had to say no to before. And speaking of the channel, I'm super excited to be bringing the dream house back into the light. I've spent what seems like hours in Home Depot standing in front of that giant wall of paint samples, trying to decide what colors I want to put into this house. I picked out a really nice neutral color for the open area of the house. For example, my entryway, living room, and kitchen are all kind of one big area, and so I found a color that I think will work in all 3 of those spaces. But then I also picked out a bunch of really fun colors that I'm going to be using in the bedrooms and in the dining room. So come along and I'll show you what I found. So I've gone in and I've painted most of the walls for the first floor. And I say most because there are a couple walls that I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with them yet. So this beige color is going to be in all of those open areas that I talked about. The green here is part of the dining room. All of this blue is going to be for the master bedroom and the ensuite bath. And then up on the second floor, I've got the guest rooms. So this purple will be in the kids' room. The baby blue beside it will be for the French-inspired guest room. This white space is going to be a beach-themed room, but I don't know what I'm doing with this wall yet. And then this final terracotta room will be for my Mexican-inspired guest room. Now, it made sense to me to do some of this wall treatment before I tried to stand the walls up. So this is the back wall of the dining room. And then this will be the entryway into the kitchen. And then this little piece on the side, I don't really have to do too much with it. I'm actually going to build a built-in china cabinet hutch on this side, so that one can probably stay white. But over here, I'm going to put some wainscoting here at the bottom, and then I'm going to put some wallpaper up above the top, and then of course put some trim. Now that green wall that I've already painted is going to go on to the left. So this is the wallpaper that I've chosen. It's very simple, but it's kind of got this sagey green leaves to it. I think it's so pretty. and it actually matches the paint that I picked out for the dining room. So I picked up 3 packages of this wainscoting when I was at the Hobby Lobby in Montana last summer. I don't know if they still carry it because I know they're getting right out of miniatures, it seems. But if you don't have something like this, it's super simple to make. You just need some coffee stir sticks or some very thin strips of wood, and you can certainly make your own wainscoting if you need to. I also picked up a whole bunch of this white trim, and I was going to use it in here, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I should go with a darker trim. The rest of the house with the beige walls is going to have a brown trim, and so for consistency's sake, I think all of the trim should be the same. I also want to cover up all of this raw wood in here, and so I'm going to be using these veneer strips of wood that I picked up from Temu. I think I got a package of 50 for about $7. And of course some trim around the doorway. I needed to decide just how high my wainscoting was going to go on the wall. I wanted it to be up just above the hutch that I made that will sit on this wall. And so from the top of the baseboard up to the top of the wainscoting turned out to be 2 7/8 inch high. So I've cut my 4 pieces of wainscoting, so now I'm just going to go in and glue them to this wall. I do want to make sure that I'm leaving enough space along that doorway so that when I put that trim on, it doesn't interfere with the wainscoting. Getting the right amount of glue is always such a challenge for me. I always tend to put way too much, and then everything just kind of seeps out the sides. So I'm trying hard here not to put too much, but still have enough so that the wainscoting actually sticks to the wall. I'm going to weigh down each piece as I go so that nothing warps while it dries. And now that it's all on, I'm going to go over the whole thing with this very fine sandpaper. I want to go in between each of these little ridges because there are these little wood fiber hairs in between, so I want to get rid of those. And I want to make sure that I've got it nice and smooth so that the paint finish looks really nice. I also want to paint this section now before I put my wallpaper on. Now I know green is not for everybody, but gosh, I love this color. I also needed to prepare my wallpaper. So of course I'm going to cut off all of this extra printing that's on the bottom of the paper. And then if you can see, there's a very small border of white that goes all the way around that sheet as well. So I'm going to trim that off. And then I'm going to try and match the pattern on the side so that it looks like one continuous piece when I put it on the wall. Now I don't have any of the really good wallpaper glue. I have ordered it, it just hasn't arrived yet. So in an effort to save some time, I'm going to be using two-sided tape to put this particular paper on. Now the thing about using two-sided tape is that there is no forgiveness. Once you stick it on, it's stuck. You can't move it around or adjust it. So I always take that backing off in sections. That way I can line it up on a section that still has the tape cover on it. And then once I've got it where I want it to be, then I can lay it down onto the sticky surface and then go under and peel that bottom piece off after. Now you can see that I'm papering right over top of the doorway, which is perfectly fine. You can always go in and trim out those sections after all of your paper is laid. I'm going to cut away that section that's going to go underneath the built-in. I don't think it needs to be there, and I think when it comes to gluing in the built-in cabinet, I'd rather glue it to the wood than to the paper. One of the nice things about using two-sided tape is you don't have to wait for the paper to dry. You can just go ahead and trim off all of the excess right away. So now that the wallpaper and the wainscoting is in place, it's time to do some trim work. So I'm going to start by covering up this exposed raw wood on the inside of the doorway. This was super easy. I just cut the pieces to fit in these areas, and I'm going to start with the piece at the very top and then measure to fill in the two sides. You'll want to press and hold that just for a minute or so until the glue takes. You can even add some masking tape here to keep everything nice and tight while the glue dries. Just be careful not to let the masking tape touch your wallpaper. To make the trim around the doorways, I'm going to use two different types of coffee stir sticks. So this smaller one is about 1/8 of an inch wide by 1/32 of an inch thick, or 4 by 1 millimeters. And this is the kind of coffee stir stick that I use to trim out a lot of furniture. It just adds a nice edge around a lot of those wooden pieces. The larger coffee stir stick behind it is 1/4 of an inch wide by 1/16 of an inch thick, or 6 millimeters by 2 millimeters. And this is the same coffee stir stick that I use to do all of the hardwood floor on the main floor of the dollhouse. I'm gluing the smaller piece on top of the larger piece, making sure that the bottom edge is flush. And then because the strips of wood are so thin, I'm going to go in and clamp those down until they dry. Now that the glue is dry on that trim, I can go ahead and start cutting it to length. So as you can see, I've cut a miter corner up at the top so that it has a nice finished look. And I've left just the right amount of space beside the wainscoting so that that trim fits in there perfectly. I've applied some wood glue to the back of that piece of trim, and now I'm just going to simply lay it in place. I'm also adding some clamps all the way around so that it stays nice and tight to that board. Next, I had to make some baseboards for the room. So originally, as I said, I was going to use that white baseboard. I opted not to use that. But I don't have any of that trim in just a raw wood, so I had to make my own. So I've started by using these strips of bamboo. Now these were, again, a Temu purchase. I think it came 50 in a package, and they are about 3/16 of an inch wide by 1/8 of an inch thick, and then they came in strips of just shy of 16 inches. For you metric folk, that is 9 millimeters by 3 millimeters by 400 millimeters. I'm staining them with the exact same stain that I used to stain the furniture for this room. So the tabletop and the top of the hutch are both in this exact same stain. I also added a piece of that smaller coffee stir stick to the bottom, just like I did on the trim around the doorways. and I attached it underneath the wainscoting. For the trim above the wainscoting, I did have some raw trim that I could stain the same color. Now, just because of the design of this trim, it wouldn't really work for the baseboards, but I think it's going to look great on top of the wainscoting. If you're in North America and you have a Home Depot close to you, Home Depot carries this product called Tiny Trim. And I'm sure that they mean it for regular size houses to put maybe molding on walls. However, it works great for things like trim or crown molding for doll houses. It comes in a length of about 4 feet long. It's very inexpensive. I think I paid $3 or $4 Canadian for that 4-foot strip. And it has tons of different designs that you can choose from. And like I said, they work great in a dollhouse. All right, it's time to get some of these walls up permanently. So the back of the dining room wall has a wall attached to it, a short wall for the pantry. So I need to attach that first before I set that whole wall into the floor. So I'm using wood dowels that I drilled into each of those pieces way back when, before we went on hiatus. And I'm putting a little bit of glue inside of the hole so that the dowels are glued in as well. And then I had to go in on the space of the wall that I'm gluing it to, do a little bit of sanding so my glue had something to adhere to, and then I just pushed that wall into place. I'm doing the same with the bottom. I'm going in and putting a little bit of glue in all of the holes that I've drilled, and then adding some glue along the line where that wall is going to set in. Once I had the wall up, I used my square to make sure that the wall was standing straight up and down. I also added a little corner clamp onto that small piece that's attached to the back. That does 2 things. One, it keeps the wall in place. And second of all, it makes sure that that back little piece of wall is at a 90-degree angle from the front. And now that this wall is up, there's a couple other walls that I can stand as well. So here's the dining room so far. Obviously I still have a lot of work to do, especially on that wall on the left, but I'm liking how it looks. I even got one of the side walls up, which is a first and second story wall. Okay, I think I'm going to end this video here. I hope you like what I've done with the dining room so far. I'm very excited to get started on this built-in china cabinet here on this wall, but that of course will be in a future video. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, I appreciate that you take the time to watch my videos. If you like what you see here, please consider subscribing, liking, and commenting on the videos. It really helps the algorithms. Until next time, take care and bye for now.